Yo, yo, yo. Testing, testing. What's up, guys? What up, what up? We are here. We are here on this fine Sunday afternoon. I hope we can hear me okay. I see some of you guys already in the chat. What up? I wish it was me. I wish it was me. What up? What up? And I see Sai with the wrench. That means I did it, right? Let's go. Our first official mod. So there's that. It made me excited when I saw that. It means I did it right. But yeah, guys, what up? What the hell is up, man? It looks like it's super dark in my room, but I guess the lighting is coming across okay. I had my blinds open, but the glare was just fucking insane. Like it made me look way paler than normal, so I had to fix that. But I'm happy to be here with you guys. There's a lot going on out there. Y'all could be doing a lot of shit, so I appreciate you popping in now. If you're watching on replay, I appreciate that as well. I'm debating on getting one of those standing mic things, so we'll see. But Sai, you you crack me up, bro. With this all this like do you want to sit here all day or all night? Because if either one of these topics I could go on again for how long did I spend on Montez Ford yesterday? Fucking what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? It felt like forever. Felt like I feel like I'm still talking about it. Here I am, actually I am. But yo, kill me, man. But what up, CJ? What up, everyone? K Smith, I see you all. That's a rich. We'll say what's up. You crack me up, bro. You crack me up. But yeah, so we're here. Obviously, we're gonna talk about a little bit of a lot. A little bit of a lot. Definitely want to talk about TNA. Give them love for Bound for Glory tonight. And it looks like a really fun lineup. So definitely want to chat about that. Like I said yesterday, we're gonna talk about the whole Raja Jackson update and things like that. Nothing. Probably won't spend too much time on it, but at least wanted to chat about it. Like I said, I was surprised. Like, not that like I don't know, like for clicks or anything, but I'm just like surprised more people aren't talking about like the follow up. Maybe they are, and I just missed it. Like I said, I've kind of been out of the loop. And to be fair, like I realized I really don't follow a lot of content creators. When I was looking in, no shade, it's probably like a bad look on me. Like I am out of the loop on so many content creators. So I apologize in advance. Y'all are probably way better versed in who's who out there than I am. So please, if you have recommendations, feel free to drop them in the chat. Because I realize I am in a small little bubble and I didn't even realize it. So there's that. And I'm surprised my algorithm didn't pop up more. But yeah. But for like when we get into the TNA card, one in particular, like I kind of feel bad. Like I hadn't heard of, so I dove in a little bit more. And the person has like a big following, and I'm just like, where the fuck am I? Like, where have I been? So there's that. But when we get into it, like I was talking a little bit about yesterday, it kind of makes me even more hopeful for TNA because they are they really go out of the box. And I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna try to hold off on that, but they really are a company that allows different wrestlers and different characters, whatever you want to call it, to really express themselves and try new shit. And now Matt Hardy, I said I'm not going to get into it, but with the final deletion and things like that, going to the Hardy compound, that all started with TNA. Like he was really allowed to express himself there. So I definitely want to give TNA some love and kind of get into that. With the Call Your Shot gauntlet in particular. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, definitely want to dive into that. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit about the Raja Jackson update. We will throw a little bit of Bailey in there if we have some time. Now we'll talk a little bit about Bailey and the whole creative side. We'll kind of tie that in together. And whatever else comes up, like not really pressed. You guys know me, man. We're just kind of here shooting the shit. But kind of debating on what to start with, to be honest with you. I kind of was feeling TNA because I already low-key have everything pulled up right here for TNA in particular. So I guess we'll just start with that. Oh, but Sai, I love the overlay, dude. It's fucking incredible. I love it. All right. some of these ads just kill me. Oh my gosh. All right. And I like the fact that it's a decent sized card, but it's not 10 plus matches. You know what I mean? And that's no shade to me. I honestly, for me, like probably a good number of matches, like match count wise on a card would be anywhere from 5 to 7, 8 pushing it depending on what type of matches they are, right? And you have your variables, right? Like the Royal Rumble, obviously you're not going to have that many because the Rumble matches are an hour plus themselves. So you have, like little asterisks for certain PLEs or pay-per-views, but I just feel like once you get past a certain amount, especially when you're there live, like you kind of get worn out because you got to think, man. If your card starts at what we'll call it 7 p.m. Eastern time, people are getting there probably minimum. Like if you're someone like me, someone who's not really pressed about the tailgating, depending on the event, of course, and who I'm with, but if you're not really pressed to get there too early, I'll probably get there around like 5:30, 6 o'clock, probably around 5:30, depending on, of course, like where it is, the event itself, things like that. But you have people who get there mad early and make a whole day out of it, which is cool, like a football thing, tailgating. That's honestly the best part. But again, it just depends for me. So those people are there all day. Then by the time that actual card itself starts, they're already feeling pretty good. But they're like, if they haven't hit their peak, they're like almost there. So the longer the show goes on, they're gonna die down. Unless they keep it going, which props to them. But it really adds a detriment to the show. And like I said yesterday for Crown Jewel, with Rhea Ripley's match in particular, it really stood out to me because, like I said, of course, like they reacted super positive, nothing crazy stood out, but it just, you could tell it was almost like a level down because everyone just went crazy for seeing it, which again is to be expected. There's no shade or nothing like that. It's just, it is what it is. It makes you think back to, makes me think back to WrestleMania 18. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but with The Rock and Hulk Hogan, right? That wasn't the main event. It's crazy to think about, but it wasn't. They had that fantastic match. Just the overall presentation was what it was. It wasn't even like when you say fantastic match, when I say fantastic match, I don't know what the ratings were or anything for it, but it was just the entirety of it, right? Like the whole presentation, what ended up being a turn for Hogan, right? And led him back to the right path as a character and all that stuff. So it was just one of those moments that really stands out, right? And then you think like, okay, that had to be the end of it, but you still had the I don't remember if it was the undisputed championship, but I don't think it was like a unification or anything like that. But it was the championship match with Triple H and Chris Jericho. Like those are the days. Like it was the old circle WWF title with just the WF, and then it was the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm pretty certain Stephanie was in the corner of Chris Jericho. Crazy times, crazy times. But yeah, so it's just, I bring that up because it just kind of does almost like a disservice to what's coming after that. So sorry to get off on a sidetrack already, but that plays into why I feel like TNA is kind of in a good place with where they're at number wise for the matches, but I'm still kind of salty that they're right there in Massachusetts and I literally just came back. But it is what it is. They also will be having a Hall of Fame segment, so I'm the whole pay-per-view. I keep wanting to say PLE now. The whole pay-per-view is probably going to go like over 4 hours, I would imagine. But this is one of their biggest events of the year, if not the biggest. So, what would be their biggest? Bound for Glory, Slammiversary. Guys, let me know. Guys who are, or you guys who are much more versed with TNA, what would they consider? Is it Bound for Glory? Let me know. Yeah, okay, Smith, you said The Rock Hogan was the people's main event. Facts. Facts. And yes, I facts, dude. Like, um, I am not the most religious TNA watcher because it's and now since I canceled other streaming, it's like I can't see the weekly product, but I do follow it and I do try to stay abreast of what's going on. But last night, I after the show, like I looked into how you go about purchasing it. Everywhere that I looked, I think it's on Triller TV, and then you can purchase it through TNA Plus, like their membership that they have, or like it's like a subscription or something on their website. Um, it's $40, 39.99 everywhere I saw it. Well, those two places, those are the only places I saw. So yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, like I'm very intrigued on purchasing it, especially since I'll be home. Pretty much gonna be like a chill night. I was like, man, like I'm pretty inclined to fork out my money and give it a shot. No pun intended. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm thinking, especially if I'm home. I was debating on going out and doing maybe a couple things, but especially if I'm home, good chance I might check it out live. And it's fun watching live. And like I was saying yesterday, man, like TNA just has this hype around them. And I don't know if you want to credit WWE for that or not. And I don't even necessarily want to. I mean, it's definitely helped. But the influx and the partnership with NXT. But TNA has been going strong for the past couple years. And whether you want to say going strong or at least picking up momentum, they've been on a positive path. So props to them. And like Santino Morella said, I'm pretty certain it was him. Uh, they just need the right platform, man. They just need the right streaming platform, TV distribution, whatever it would end up being, to really hook more people in. And I think it'd be very interesting to see if they were able to get on some type of, even if it was like a CW or something like that, just to see what the ratings would end up being. I'd be very, very curious to see out of when you compare all the shows that would be airing to see where TNA would rank. I don't expect them to come out crushing it. I mean, obviously, or maybe I should say like continue crushing because normally like your first couple shows are obviously the hottest ones you would hope. But I could see them being consistent and maybe trickling upward. But I don't know, man. I feel like they would make a running, and I'm trying to like I'm as I'm speaking, I'm thinking like maybe like in comparison to NXT numbers, NXT I would say what averages like around 600,000 if you want to say, give or take a few thousand on a weekly basis. Obviously, they have better and worse weeks, but I would say we'll just call it like a rough average, like 600,000, just for shits and giggles. I feel like NXT or TNA in comparison, gosh, maybe 100,000, maybe 125,000 starting off, because and maybe that's low, but I don't think their access numbers were that high. Last I'd seen, they were only like I don't think they were like pretty low. And again, no shame. It's just no pun intended with the access, right? And the availability, but and the marketing, right? Like you really need to get the name out there and get the word out there. And I think that is something that they can really benefit with the partnership with NXT, especially once they're able to lock a deal down. Hopefully, and I feel like they would because NXT would end up benefiting as well. But with their talent being aired on wherever TNA would be airing, I would hope that NXT, the commentators would be like, yeah, like follow up on whatever night, whatever day to see what ends up happening with Trick Williams, for instance. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. So that would only help because I know I would check it out. So, and I feel like you guys would too. Maybe more people would as well. Maybe not as many people as I'm hoping, but I feel like they would make a good running for it. So we'll see. And it would just end up being better for wrestling all around too. Like yes, there's the discussion of do we have too much content? Is it being watered down? Is there just too much wrestling, period? Just across the board, social media wise, streaming wise? I don't know. Yes, in some ways. But I think it's just all about presentation. And I guess just presentation, period. Long story short. But yeah. Yeah, K Smith. Lockdown felt like a big deal, dude. Lockdown did feel like a big deal. Like, if not their biggest show, definitely their top three. Definitely their top three. And yeah, whereas all sports are better live, CJ, for sure. For sure. And that's why talking about Bound for Glory, like, I really wanna, if I'm home, like I really wanna be able to I really may check out. Or maybe I may look into buying it. What up, Fernando? What up, what up? What up, what up? But yeah, so getting to the card itself, move some tabs. Like I said, it looks like a very fun card. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I guess, well, no, that's the Hall of Fame. So yeah, so there's 9 matches in totality, but a couple of them are like multi-people matches, multi-person matches, but it is one of their bigger shows of the year. So that is, to me, like that's why you hold off on having so many matches throughout the year, so you can save a, a decent sized card for your bigger events, because you expect WrestleMania to fucking go all night. I mean, I think we're all still watching. I think we're all still, like, half of our brain is still watching WrestleMania 35. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that's why you need to be like be cognizant rather of the placement of how many matches you have, because it's not about, in my opinion at least, it's not about the quantity, because you can have a 4 match card, a 5 match card, and that be one of the best PLEs or pay-per-views of the year. So it just depends on, I guess, it just depends on your preference as well too. So because some people love just match after match, and that's cool, man. If that's your cup of tea, right on. It's just not for me. I'm more of a story person. Like, I would prefer to have a longer one match, like a match that can be 30, 40 minutes, as long as it's telling the story and it's making sense, you know what I mean? As opposed to maybe having 3 individual matches. Now, you don't want to see people left off the card, so that's what I say. It's just all about placement, my opinion. But it is what it is. But real quick, they do have, which is, not a match, so we'll get to that really quick. The TNA Hall of Fame, their inductees are Mickey James, Angelina Love, and Velvet Sky. That would be in the pre-show, it looks like. Of course, the beautiful people. Man, I remember, so back in the day, it was when, God, I think my parents had Comcast. God, if I'm not mistaken, it probably was Comcast or Xfinity, whatever. But it was, I kind of miss cable. I'm not gonna lie. Like, trying to figure out what NFL game is airing on what streaming platform is fucking annoying as all get out. And trying to figure out what to buy to be able to watch at least the majority or at least a few games or have access to a few games. It's so annoying. Like, it almost, I get to the point where I'm just like, fuck it. I'll just wait for the highlights or wait for the replay. But again, like CJ said, watching live sporting events, it just hits different, like it's not as fun watching it on replay. So that's what's so frustrating about it. But man, like back in the day when everything was built into one, and they would show you, and I guess guides still do it now, but obviously, what's airing at what time, duh. But it would show you the preview, like a description at the top. And what hooked me to TNA was Jeff Hardy. They had, because of course Jeff's my guy. They had Jeff, like, I don't remember if he had just made his debut or it was like right around the time he had just gone over to TNA. And I was just so fucking excited because I lived in an area where I couldn't get internet. We didn't have internet for like forever. Um, and I had no idea what happened to him. And then I, was reading in magazines and stuff like that, but no idea where he went. And then randomly I came across TNA and there he was. So fantastic. That's how I found TNA. But man, like when you think back to the good old days of TNA, like their knockouts division was an escape for women's wrestling. Man, like they, of course, like the term knockouts, you know, like a lot of people said it was derogatory. I mean, but divas, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? But they allowed a spotlight to be shown on people like Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, you know what I mean? Like people like that. And oh my god, ODB. Y'all remember ODB, bro? Fucking ODB, man. She was my girl. Like she was just fucking crazy. Coming out there with the flask, you know, like hitting her chest, like, all this shit, man. She fucking has I don't want to say like a food truck, but like she owns like it's like one of those like mobile like I forget that it's like an Airstream. What are they called? Like Airstreams or whatever. It's like one of those big nice ones. Like she's out there like cooking food and shit like on the road. That's so dope. It's so cool. But yeah, like it just takes me back. So that's another reason why it looks like that's on the pre-show though. So I guess you can check that out for free. But another reason why I wanted to check out the show tonight, because Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, just them as a tag team, like the beautiful people. Yes, you know, like physically, you know, beautiful people, right? Plays into it, but I don't know. The whole knockouts division was just a different version of women's wrestling, and it was especially for that time when WWE was just showcasing like bra and panties matches, mud matches, and shit like that. Um, they were getting better as the years were progressing on, and it wasn't as much just solely focused on that, but we still weren't where we are today, or even where TNA was. So TNA deserves a lot of credit and a lot of props for that. And Mickey James, dude, Mickey James, and I may have some biasy because she's from Richmond, so right there, you know, literally the same place that I'm from. So seeing someone make it from RVA is very rare. And to be as big of a deal as she ended up being, I still feel like she is solely underrated for what she brought to the women's division as a whole. Like I was just saying, that time frame they were transitioning out of just being, you know, visual pieces, right, and just going out there for bra and panties matches. And you remember those like those pillow matches? They had I forget the name of the match, but it was at WrestleMania, I'm pretty certain. It was like some type of like pillow fighting match or some shit. And I'm just like, man, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And like, dude, like, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know. Like, I was just thinking, like, do guys like really like get off on this shit? Like, is this really like that exciting? Like, I don't know. I guess because like, you know, you see people in like the audience like reacting to it, so I guess, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so what was it 2005 2006 they were transitioning, they being WWE, into taking women more seriously. And Mickey James, like, yes, she came in as like the stereotypical like crazy chick, like stalker type, obsessed with Trish Stratus. But that feud and that match that they had at WrestleMania 22 is still one of my favorites, bar none. Like that, it was such a good match. Like if you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Like yes, it wasn't like a Matt classic or anything like that, but it was so good. I really enjoyed it. Just for the story, like I said, that it told. And I don't know, it was just different. And Mickey James was different. And I don't know, I just think and feel like she was ahead of her time in a lot of respects, and she got a lot of disrespect too. You remember the whole like Piggy James and that bullshit? Like it's just I don't know. And she wasn't the only one, right? But it just some of the shit that she went through just really stands out. And it's just a shame. Now, she did end up going back and getting a little bit more recognition, and especially like I said, the women's division has grown, obviously, thankfully. So I'm very thankful that TNA is giving her the credit and the respect and the recognition that she deserves. And I feel like WWE will eventually as well. Is she? Because she's not in the Hall of Fame yet in WWE, correct? Unless I'm completely forgetting that. Yeah. No, I just wanted to be certain. But yeah, so she's not in WWE's Hall of Fame yet. And like I said, to me, I don't feel like they're gonna like shiest her or anything like that. But I just feel overall, I don't feel like they give her enough credit. And fans too. Like, I don't know, maybe again, could be biased, but that's just me. Dude, that could be a fun match though. Not for nothing. Sorry, like what if Mickey James tagged with Nick Aldis against Montez Ford and Bianca? Nah, dude, that could actually be like I said yesterday. Fucking bring back the mixed match challenge, dude. Just bring it back. You can add. That's another couple. Another one. Another one. Hey Maria, what up? What up? What up? What up? Just scrolling through y'all's comments here. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everyone who is joining on YouTube and on Twitter and on Twitch. Appreciate that. I'm dabbling. I was looking into another streaming platform because StreamYard is expensive, and I feel kind of limited. And but I was kind of looking around and talking to some other people, even just like one other streaming platform. They have a lot more capability and access to streaming to different platforms like TikTok and shit like that. So looking into that. And it's cheaper because StreamYard is like $45 a month to be able to display certain things. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of crazy, which I don't mind because I love my channel. You know what I mean? And I care about this and I care about it going forward. But just seeing what other options are out there, it was just really eye opening. So I was dabbling with that before we went live here. So I'm looking into that. But if any of you guys have any recommendations on that as well, always open to any recommendations for streaming, whether it's like the platforms, any other like the streaming software itself, like StreamYard, shit like that. I've heard, I think Ringside Renaissance uses Riverside. I think it is. I'm pretty certain they use that. And they have beautiful quality and shit like that. So shout out to them. They're fantastic over there. But there's just different options out there. But yeah, any mic or video, anything that you guys recommend, I'm all ears. We're all here to learn, right? And to grow. Well, me. But we as a community, because when I grow, we grow. Yeah, Kate Smith, you said the beautiful people was a great gimmick. They were, dude. Fantastic. And they end up being like really good singles wrestlers as well. But man, like they were just I just fucking love them, dude. Just so entertaining. So entertaining. See, you're funny, bro. You're funny, and I appreciate this comment. You said I never cared too much for bra and panty matches. I watch wrestling for wrestling. I think Bailey is so hot, but do I want to see her in a bra and panty match? No. She is do I want to see her in a bra and panty match? No, she is above that. Had to accentuate that for you. And I appreciate that, dude. You crack me up, dude. But I truly appreciate that. That means you're a real fan. You know what I mean? And you can respect and appreciate all facets of her. You know what I mean? You can appreciate the fact that she is an attractive woman. And just we'll leave it at that. And you can appreciate the fact that she is a great wrestler and you care about her as a gimmick, as her as a character, things like that. So I appreciate that, man. Yeah, and like Kay Smith said, you're a real Bailey fan. Facts, dude. Yeah, dude. Once we finish TNA, we'll talk about someday. And Kay Smith, yeah. So I'll bring that back up about Brooklyn, so we can talk about Bay and Sasha in Brooklyn. CJ, I'm sure you've seen that, dude. Did you CJ? Let me know in the chat, because then I'll bring that up and we can talk about it later. But let me know, CJ, if you saw the Bailey and Sasha match in Brooklyn live. Like, whether if you were there, that'd be even more incredible. But I mean, like, did you watch it airing live, or did you go back and watch it later on? Yeah, dude. Let me know. Simon, Melina, you're ridiculous, bro. Maria. Oh man, y'all are funny. Y'all are fucking funny. But yeah, so long story short, I'm on the TNA Hall of Fame. I think I'm gonna buy it tonight, guys. I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and buy it. I might even buy the subscription. I might look into their TNA subscription. Not that I should be spending more money because it's been one of them months, but I like to support. You know what I mean? There's other ways you can watch it, but I like to support, and TNA deserves it. So, but the other match on the pre-show, it looks like, will be the speaking of the knockouts, will be the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, the Inspiration, aka the Iconics, defending their championships against Elegance Brand, and it just cracks me up because, like, just the Iconics, man, like they're so fucking entertaining. Inspiration, you know what I mean? And I read that their contracts were coming up pretty soon, or if not relatively soon at the end of this year, along with a lot of other TNA talent. So obviously, I'm sure TNA is looking to re-sign them if they haven't already. Let me see. Let me look that up really quick. Okay, so it just says the Inspiration, of course, Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee. Their contracts are set to expire after Bound for Glory, but TNA officials expect them to stay. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, nothing official though. Mhm. Yeah, so it just looks like everything and everyone expect them to resign with TNA. Which honestly, like that'd be really cool of them to resign with TNA. Like I get why they probably want to go back to WWE, but maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe the cross exposure that they're getting being in TNA, being able to go over to NXT and kind of, just recently they started doing that. Or they made their first appearance rather. Maybe that's good enough for them. You know what I mean? And maybe who knows? Especially if TNA does end up signing a TV deal or whatever type of deal, streaming deal that may end up being. Maybe that'll be enough for WWE to want to start to slowly integrate TNA into the main roster, which I think would be kind of wild. Honestly, like I don't think, it's a long shot, right? I'm just spitballing here. But wouldn't it have been cool, like, if they go into, well, they're not saying invasion now because of real world shit. But the showdown, like, wouldn't it have been cool, like, if they really, like, amplified that and took TNA talent and just fucking, like, trashed Raw or like just like I mean obviously not being in Australia, but like once they got back to the States, like just came back and invaded Raw, SmackDown. Obviously, they've already done that with TN or with NXT. But leading into Survivor Series, that could have been like a version of the War Games, right? Like kind of going like WWE versus TNA type shit. Like what that would have been fucking crazy. Just again, just completely like spitballing here and like fantasy booking, I guess if you call it that, or if you want to call it that. But who knows? Maybe in the future, because if you remember, WWE had that lawsuit. I think it was MLW that MLW brought against them, like accusing WWE of pretty much like dominating all the streaming platforms, like pretty much dominating like all distribution platform type shit. um, to where like and it impacted a deal with MLW. Kind of see if I can look that up really quick. So it would behoove WWE to play nice and help TNA get some type of really good deal. You know what I mean? It just has way more pros than cons. Just kind of want to see. Okay, yeah. So back in, damn, was it 3 years ago already? Back in January in 2020 or into 2022, MLW had filed an antitrust lawsuit against WWE, accusing them of interfering in television and streaming deals and poaching talent. Through the lawsuit, I was thinking of like a poached egg. Isn't that what it's called? Through the lawsuit, it was disclosed that a streaming deal with Fox Corporation owned Tubi was terminated due to WWE allegedly threatening to pull their programming from the sibling Fox. Suit also alleges that WWE pressured Vice TV to withdraw negotiations with MLW. In February of 2023, the lawsuit was dismissed due to a lack of sufficient facts to plausibly allege a relevant antitrust product market, and that their quote allegations are insufficient to plausibly allege a relevant product market. MLW was given 21 days to file an amendment to their lawsuit. Okay. So yeah. But I don't know, man. To me, it's just still kind of, you know, better safe than sorry in some things, in some routes, and shit, prevent any future allegations. You know what I mean? But back to moving on, back to the actual card. But yeah, so with TNA, I hope that they do resign because that'd be dope for TNA to keep them, and I think it would be really beneficial for their talent, but for their division rather. But man, like I would love to see the Iconics back in WWE. I just still can't believe they let them go, bro. Such a fail. But the actual card itself, so it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, 8 matches specifically on the main card. Not too shabby. Starting off, we have Tessa Blanchard versus Gia Miller, though. Again, TNA, give them credit where credit is due. They give people so many chances, and whether you agree or disagree with that, sometimes you just need companies out there like that. You know what I mean? And again, like there's a certain point, right? Like if people go out there and like fucking like like kill certain people, like I don't know, like YouTube is very sensitive to certain words. But if they go off someone else, you know what I mean? Like that's a bit much, But I don't know. I think there's levels to certain things, right? And again, I'm not going to get into that because there's so many different ways that you can, or so many different variables, I think, and so many different parts to it. But TNA, whether it's been DUIs, just other things, they have given people so many chances, right? Look at Jeff Hardy, man. Like he's one of my favorite wrestlers. The one of like probably like I said, like probably my top guy, top three overall. I'd have to sit there and think about it. But he was the guy who really got me hooked, right? I've spoken about that prior. But he's had his issues, right? And he's gone through a lot of shit, publicly known, right? Multiple times. A lot of companies like WWE didn't, fired him, wouldn't bring them back for a certain amount of time. TNA gave them multiple chances, and whether you agree or disagree with that, I've heard some people saying that, like the Hardys shouldn't be, or maybe not the Hardys, but Jeff shouldn't be back, period. Like they should not bring him back. And that's always fascinating to me because it's like, at what point do you stop bringing someone back? But then the same token too, it's like, who are we to judge someone else? You know what I mean? And like they have turned their life around. It's a very tricky situation. So I'm glad I am not that person in that situation to make that call, because to me it's just it would be too much. So I get why some people wouldn't want him to be back, period. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. Hold on 1 second. I meant to fix something really quick. All right, cool. But yeah, so I don't know. You guys can throw your thoughts in there on that if you'd like. But to me, that's it's just one of those things. You know what I mean? But to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have. Do you guys think we'll ever see Tessa Blanchard, like even just flirt with like in the NXT TNA crossover showdown type thing? Like, do you think we're going to see a Tessa Blanchard appearance? Is like maybe testing the waters, and maybe they did and I missed it because again, like I don't watch NXT religiously. Just again another one I don't get CW. But I did see that I can get it on NXT or on NXT. I can get it on Netflix with certain ways. So now that I know that, I'm gonna try to be more on top of it. God, and see, like I was talking about earlier, just too many fucking ways you gotta go about watching shit nowadays. But I don't know, it's just a shame. But I see Tessa taking the W here. But it's I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. But the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, as well as referring to earlier, let me see if we have the participants because we have Lei Ying Lee entering at number 1, and then Mance Warner entering at number 20. The prize is a shot at any title, obviously. But do we have a list of the full? No. It looks like we just I know they mentioned, and that's what I was talking about earlier. A dude by the name of BDE. I had never, and again, like I don't mean it's my ignorance, right? Like maybe like let me know if you guys follow him. But he's a content creator. Apparently, he has like a pretty substantial following, like 1 million people or some shit like that. So, and he's been wrestling apparently. So I kind of was scrolling through his Twitter page. I think like last night right before end up going to sleep. But yeah, that's pretty dope. Apparently, pull it up here now. I think it was Sammy Callahan. Had quote tweeted him and had tagged Tommy Dreamer, and then Tommy Dreamer gave him a shot. Pun intended, I guess. Yeah, I'll see if they had any more additions to the gauntlet match, but just BDE. So again, shout out to him. That's pretty dope. And again, like I was talking about earlier, it's really cool of TNA to give people a shot like this. Again, all the puns, right? But they allow different creators and different people who are taking it seriously, right? From what I've seen, like he's not just, like he's actually put in work, you know what I mean? And he's taking it seriously. So there's no shame in doing both, right? Being a content creator and going out there and doing, like doing multiple things that you love at once. So, but you can, in my opinion, you can tell who's real about it and who's fake about it. You know what I mean? Or just doing it for certain exposure. And from what I've seen, like he's not that dude. So props to him. And it's again another reason why I'm really honestly like really intrigued to check it out because I want to learn a little bit more. I want to check out a little bit more. I want to see what I've been missing. And kind of like jump on the bandwagon, you know what I mean? To kind of call it what it is and see what's going on. And for me, like that's what's really cool about TNA, like I said, because they allow different people to do different shit. And for this match in particular, they're calling it what it is too. It's not like it's one of those matches where it's like a little bit of everything, it looks like. And I just feel like there's a difference when like you try to take it seriously and try to like, like not that you don't want to call one wrestling match serious as opposed to another one, but when you go out there and put them in like a standard match or a match like this where it is what it is and like it's a gauntlet style match. So I don't know. I just dig it. I dig how it's different. I dig them just kind of being transparent about it and giving different people different shots. So yeah, that's another reason why I'm excited to kind of check it out. Let me know, how many are you going to be watching the TNA Bound for Glory show live? Oh, Maria, you said you think Jake something is winning the Call Your Shot? That dude has been around for a minute too. Shout out to him too. That's awesome. I remember obviously the thing that stood out to me. I remember when I first came across his name, like I thought someone was being disrespectful, and I was like really, like if you don't remember his name, like do your research. And it was me, not seeing what they were referencing. I was like, oh, that's pretty clever, pretty clever. CJ, you said not you. Why? TNA fired him in 05 for being unprofessional. Who are you referring to? Oh, who are you referring to, Jeff? K. Smith, you said TNA fired him in 05 for being unprofessional? That was a few minutes ago, so it's probably when I was on my Jeff thing. Sorry, about to lose that wrench, bro. Yeah, bro. No, facts. CJ, you said you lost so much respect for Jeff for what he did to Sting at Bound for Glory. Speaking of Bound for Glory, you forgave him though. Yeah, dude, that shit was trash. That was terrible. But it was a bad look for everyone. It was a terrible look for Jeff. It was bad on TNA for not recognizing it sooner. And there's I know Bruce Pritchard has spoken about it on his podcast before, and Eric Bischoff has as well. And I think Sting actually has like addressed it at some point, but Sting ended up forgiving him, and like Jeff apologized apparently, not excusing it, but I think when Jeff ended up going back, he apologized to the locker room or whatever, and tried to make amends. But yeah, 100%, 100%. That shit was so embarrassing and just terrible, you know, just terrible. And he walk out in a WWE live match. What was that? 2018, 2018, 2019. So again, my guy's had issues, bro. My guy has definitely had issues. But everyone loves a comeback story, right? Oh, CJ, I feel you, dude. I fucking feel you. Yeah, and with all this streaming and shit, I wish wrestling as a whole had one like unified streaming platform. We can wish, right? But yeah, moving on because again, I will keep you guys here forever. So yeah, I feel like that match is gonna be fun. I honestly I have no prediction there because I really don't know who's gonna be in it. So it's just gonna be one of those matches. Just sit back and have fun. We have a hardcore war match, the system, which let me move this, which includes Moose, Eddie Edwards, Alicia Edwards, Brian Myers, and Johnny Curtis. Dirty Dongo, Fandango, versus Order 4, Mustafa Ali, Tasha Steeles, John Skyler, Jason Hodge, and Agent Zero. The hardcore war, bro. What a match. For me, honestly, I'm kind of surprised the system is still a thing. I feel like they've been a thing for a while now. How long has it been, guys? And I don't know. It just kind of cracks me up, Dirty Dongo. When I was at the TNA show, God, what was it, back in February? Just seeing him live, dude, it just cracks me up because the music is just like stuck in my brain. So whenever I see him, it just like automatically plays, which is a problem. But yeah, and again, Ali, bro, he is a fucking unit. I don't know if you guys saw the match that he had with Ethan Page. Just wild, like the cable being wrapped around his foot. that shit was just terrifying to me. I was like, oh my god, get the cable, get the cable, get the cable. Just wild shit. He's one of those that really bet on himself, and you got to respect that shit. You know what I mean? He's in phenomenal shape. Like, I don't know if you guys, again, I don't know if you guys have seen him recently, but just fantastic, fantastic shape. So props to him. Props to him. But next, you have the TNA International Championship. Frankie Kazarian, who got a shout out from AJ Styles in the match, that was pretty cool, is defending the championship against Steve Macklin. Okay, what up, sick boy? You said the system started at beginning of 2024. Okay. God, it's felt longer than that, but I guess not too long. I mean, look at Judgment Day, right? How long have they been together? But I don't know, man. I feel like Macklin may take it here. Again, I'm not fully abreast on the depth on their storyline, but I just feel like Macklin's gonna take it. I could be completely off though, but maybe not. Maybe they'll give it to Frankie. You know, like just the feeling that how long Frankie's been there. Just I don't know. I don't know, man. But I think it was really cool that AJ Styles kind of gave him a little shout out in the match that he had with John Cena, and but people are calling the love letter like to professional wrestling or whatever. Fantastic match, dude. Fantastic match. But this one is low key probably one of the top reasons why I am looking forward to this show. And that's the X Division Championship match between Leon Slater defending the championship against Javon Evans. Like, you want to talk about like almost like what one is to each company. It's just like looking in the mirror type shit. Like, it's just gonna be like a scary match. One of those scary matches where you're just kind of like holding your breath type shit. Like, I can only imagine what they're gonna go out there and just do to each other, or it just attempt, right? So I don't know, like I feel like Leon is gonna retain here, but I don't know. I feel like it would be interesting if they pulled the trigger and put the title on Evans, but I feel like going forward though, they may flirt with them being a tag team, which I think would just be fucking insane. And I think it was Evans who had mentioned something like, you know, like never say never if they do end up tagging together or whatnot, or you know, if they've kind of talked about it or if it's been discussed, you know, like seriously. But man, I just think why not? So I feel you keep the title on Slater right now, have them kind of have like a mutual respect type thing, have fun with the tag team for X amount of months. Just kind of just like see how far you can take it, right? And then pull the trigger when you need to. And then if he's still the X Division champion at that point, you know, not saying you have to keep the title on him or just pull the trigger, period, and go forward with the feud between them, you can do that. And then really have something a little bit more substantial and a little bit more like substance behind them. Not saying that you necessarily need it for a match like this. It's just one of those where you can make an excuse for you can just respect and just kind of just have fun with it. But it also would benefit too having a little bit more depth to it. And I think that just give it a little bit more time and just allow something to play out and just allow something to build and play out for them and kind of go from there. And you can do that within the next year. If you know, at least take it 6 months, right? 6 months, 8 months, and then go from there. So I feel like you keep the title on Slater here. But I could be wrong. Could be wrong. You have next the Knockouts Championship. Kaylani Jordan defending the title against Indy Hartwell. I think Indy's taking this one, bro. I think it's I don't know. I just feel like it's Indy's night. Indy's night. So with the whole Ash by Elegance having to retire, she recently did an interview saying, you know, never say never again type shit. But I don't think they've officially said what exactly the injury or the condition was that, you know, kind of forced her to step aside for now and relinquish the title. But yeah, it sucks because again, she was one of those who I don't remember if she was fired by WWE, like released, or asked for her release. I feel like she was released, but I could be wrong. I don't want to, misspeak on something like that. But regardless, she really came into her own in TNA. So props to her. And it's sad that she had to step away. But Kaylani Jordan ended up picking up the ball and running with it a little bit. But I just feel like Indy's taking the W here, man. It just kind of feels like that night, which will lead to the main event decision. But speaking of Jeff, we have Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, who are triple tag champions now. They have the TNA and the NXT tag team championships, but they also won the Hawk, the House of Glory tag team championships as well. I think it was last night. I don't know where they were, but at one of the HOG events. So now they have 3 tag team titles. So they are catching up to Mercedes Moné, who has 10 titles now, I think. Did she get her 11th? Or I think she's still at 10 now. But they will be defending both the TNA and NXT tag team championships against what year are we in? Bully Ray and Devon Dudley in a tables match. So again, like what year are we in? It's just fucking wild. Taking it back to when did they have their first tables match? 1999? 2000? Whatever it was. 25, 26 years ago. It's just wild. Props to them for still being able to go out there and do it. Especially Devon, because I remember maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it was like I think in the pandemic time frame when he had some back issues. I'm pretty certain it was, but something that was keeping him out of being able to wrestle again, and that's why I feel like because they had, I think they were both running the training facility that they had in Connecticut, I believe, but the Team 3D Academy, but then Devon ended up moving to Florida and he had opened one down here, but I think he ended up closing that one. So Bully was just running the one up north. But I think it was something health related that he really couldn't pursue that. And then he ended up reopening his own. I don't know if he still has it though, but yeah, kind of long story short, I'm just happy he's able to, he's good, he's able to go out there and do a tables match, right? And do something not as that's just not a standard tag match, but going out there and doing something a tad more physical, right? So props to him. And props to them all. They say this is their last match or whatever. I don't buy it. I feel, especially with Edge and Christian, Adam Copeland and Christian out there, I feel like they're all gonna find their way back into WWE within the next 2-3 years. Especially, God, can you imagine WrestleMania 27? They're all back in. I just keep expecting everyone to make their return at WrestleMania 27. But within the next 2 years, I can fully see and expect all 3 teams to be back in WWE and have one last hurrah. That'd be fucking wild. And again, not even necessarily advocating for it. Depends on where they're all at health wise, but it's fucking crazy. But yeah, I feel like the Hardys are gonna retain here. Maybe it's the irony of them beating the Dudleys in their own match. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I guess I'm 50-50. Cause it's just kind of funny, right? If the Dudleys lose their own match. But do I see the Dudleys becoming dual champions so soon after the Hardys just won them? I don't know. So that's why I'm I don't think so. I think the Hardys are gonna retain there. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened. But that leads us to the main event of the evening, and that is for the TNA World Championship. Trick Williams, of course, your NXT star, defending the TNA World Championship against Mike Santana. And this has better be the moment, man. What was it Slammiversary? What was the last show where they were in New York and Santana was fighting for the championship and he lost? What pay-per-view was it? Was it Slammiversary? I don't know. I can't remember. Let me know in the chat if you remember. I was in the camp that he was willing to do. Like, if I had to put money on it, I would put money on him winning it there. So if this dude doesn't win it here, I'm just gonna be like, what the fuck you guys doing? So my money would totally be on Mike Santana here if we could bet on wrestling. Probably a good idea that we can't. I think you can. I think some people have access to bet in certain ways. Because Fightful talks about it. But shout out to Fightful. But here in Florida we can't. But yeah, my money is metaphorically on Mike Santana here, man. Like, if they don't pull the trigger on it here, I don't know why not. I would be really perplexed as to why not. So 100% my money is on Santana for certain. I think Trick Williams has been a good champion, and I was there when he won the title, which is kind of crazy. Still to think about, right? But I think it's time. I think it's time. I think it's been time for Santana. So I think this is going to be a really good match. But yeah, man, I feel it. I feel excited for Santana. Okay, Maria, yeah, it was Slammiversary. Okay. Yeah, K Smith. Okay, cool. It was Rumble 2000. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I should remember that. That's one of my favorite pay-per-views. Yeah. For certain. See, Sai, they know you said you can bet on wrestling in the UK. Oh, probably a good idea that I can't. You said your super chat yesterday was paid for by the good people at Skybet. Shout out to Skybet then. Great people. Great people. But yeah, so that's the TNA card. Again, I'm actually the more I sat here and talk about it, I'm even more pumped to check it out. So I think I will be doing that this evening. But moving on, we will chat about Raja Jackson and then move on from there. I'm gonna go through your chat here really quick as well. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I got you, CJ. I won't forget about Bay. I started a couple comments. I won't forget. CJ, yeah, but where can you bet on? You say you can bet on wrestling now here in the USA. Where can you bet on it though? Like, what state are you in, CJ? Because I know you definitely can't here in Florida. And again, it's probably a good thing that you can't. Let me see. Yeah, no. All we have here is Hard Rock Bet here in Florida. All right. But again, thank you everyone for being here with me on this fine Sunday afternoon. I appreciate you guys. If you are watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, all that good shit. Appreciate all you guys watching over on Twitter as well and on Twitch. All you good fine people over there. Appreciate you guys. Post show. But we are gonna get into Raja Jackson. I'm pretty certain everyone here is aware of the whole Raja Jackson situation, what happened. Excuse me. But we'll kind of backtrack a little bit. Go over here. He has officially been charged, so want to, of course, discuss that. And this article here kind of gives a pretty good rundown, and then I'll dive into your comments too. But if you haven't seen the footage, obviously I'm not going to show it here. I don't even know if I can, but not going to show it. But it was not great, to say the least. Like, Raja went in there. Psycho Stu was the wrestler. He was in there. It was at a Knox Pro event in Los Angeles. Psycho Stu was in there, and he was, I forget the opponent that he was facing off against, but his opponent was kind of coming off the ropes, so Psycho Stu was facing him. Raja was kind of sitting where the view was, the most popular camera view was kind of on the outside of the ring where Raja was sitting, kind of in the far right turnbuckle area. Raja or Psycho Stu would have been in the ring towards the left area. And Raja had been talking about how he was planning on going in there and pretty much fucking him up. And I don't want to say words that I'm not 100% aware, but pretty much going in there and just fucking him up. Long story short. You guys can go out there and find the footage. He pretty much live streamed the entire thing. There's video clips of it too, so you guys can go out there and find the exact verbiage. But he was planning on going there and pretty much like beating him up for real, and pretty much like making him pay, like long story short of it. And kind of payback, retribution, whatever you want to call it, for Psycho Stu earlier in the day. I believe it was like maybe an hour or so prior. Maybe the article will say it here. I haven't read it fully because I'm going to read it here with you guys. But it was earlier in the day where Psycho Stu was backstage. A bunch of wrestlers were pretty much, it looked like in like a parking lot area before the show, drinking, having some beers, whatever. Again, maybe not the best idea, but it is what it is. Who am I to judge? And Psycho Stu crushed a beer can over Raja's head. Again, probably not the best idea, but it looks like after that Psycho Stu had apologized for it and pretty much like kind of like said, I thought you were a wrestler. He saw the cameras and thought it was pretty much like a show. So that's why he did what he did. Apparently it wasn't squashed. But yeah, that was kind of how it started. It was interesting though, because like I said, I hope it references here. And if you guys know, let me know how much time had passed between the whole can smashing against the forehead or the head itself, the side of the head, and then the events later on. But to me, it seemed like everything was addressed, and to me, that was one of the most perplexing parts. I was like, dude, like if you were that pissed, like why? And he did react, Raja, he did, like he did react, like not physically, but he did turn around and kind of, get in his face. But it was squashed after that, it seemed. And again, maybe to Raja it wasn't. I don't know. And it may, to be fair, his name, but we'll see. Well, there's later footage where one of the wrestlers were saying, like get a receipt or something like that. So that definitely didn't help shit, right? But to me, you still know. And unless something was fully discussed between everyone involved or everyone that was going to be involved, with it being Jackson, Psycho Stu, the other wrestler that Psycho Stu was facing against, the referee. Not saying everyone needed to be involved, but obviously the key fucking people, right? If that wasn't hashed out, then no receipt should have been given at all, in my opinion, period. They're especially bum rushing the dude, like I'm assuming everyone here has seen the footage again, right? Just in between that and the shit that he was talking about, like just like getting more and more amped up, like working himself up even more. And then the people in his chat were not helping either. This people in his chat talking about how like you're gonna let him do that, like disrespect you, blah blah blah, like just not helping matters at all, right? But at the end of the day, like you need to not be a hothead, like you need to be level headed. Now, to be fair and point out all sides, right, and on all aspects. Apparently, Raja had suffered a concussion a few days prior, so he probably, not no doctor here, probably should not have been in that type of environment. Period. Doing anything physical, right? If you wanted to go there as a fan, cool, but probably shouldn't have been doing anything physical. And again, if that is the case, and he did sustain a concussion prior, what Psycho Stu did, crushing the can over his head, definitely didn't help shit out either. Not blaming him at all, just laying out the facts, you know what I mean? Or what supposedly are the facts from the information that we have right now. But again, like just another reason why there needs to be boundaries too. Like no matter who you are, celebrity wise, like you shouldn't be in backstage in certain areas where the wrestlers are, like yes, they didn't have a typical locker room setup, but like if that's where the boys are changing it, like in my opinion, like your average like person shouldn't be back there, whether you're just Joe Schmo like me or you're a content creator, you're a celebrity, doesn't matter. Like you shouldn't just be able to just go back where they are, or there should be pretty much like an introduction. Like, all right, like so and so is about to come back here, like they're filming, but like it's nothing physical, like like they're just filming, like they're just live streaming type shit, and like just kind of like set the stage, and so that way everyone is aware and shit like this doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of things that I feel like went wrong leading up to what happened in the ring. So it's just really fucking sad, dude, because all this could have been avoided. So yeah, I'm gonna get to your comments though for sure on it. But the article itself, so that was just a little bit of backstory. Again, just crazy shit. If you haven't seen the video, it's very graphic because the second Raja like pretty much like picks him up and like fireman carries like slams him down, like you can tell Stu was just out of it. So all just the beatings to the head were just while he's unconscious. My opinion. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but it just dude was not able to defend himself at all. And the fact that it took people around him so long to break it up, it's like, bro, like what are we doing? Like what are we doing? Like go fucking help him. You know what I mean? Oh, just wild. But the article itself regarding the charges. This over. All right, so Rajah Jackson pleads not guilty to battery charges after assaulting pro wrestler, faces up to 7 years in prison if convicted. And this is courtesy of MMAfighting.com, so shout out to them. I'll throw it in the notes. But it looks like it's by Damon Martin, so shout out to him. Rajah Jackson pleaded not guilty in court on Thursday after he was hit with a felony battery charge and a misdemeanor battery charge for assaulting a pro wrestler at an event in Los Angeles this past August. After he was arrested in September and released on $50,000 bail, Jackson, the son of former UFC light heavyweight champion Quentin Rampage Jackson, was back in court for his arraignment after the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office moved forward with the criminal complaint against him. The two charges, and I'll get back to that once we wrap up here. The two charges include sentencing enhancement for allegedly causing, quote unquote, great bodily injury, which could add an extra 3 years to a prison sentence. Based on the charges, Jackson could potentially face 7 years in prison if convicted. The 25-year-old is due back in court November 24th for a preliminary hearing setting. For a preliminary hearing setting in his case. Jackson, a pro fighter, was arrested in September after he assaulted Stuart Smith, ring name Psycho Stu, during a Knox Pro event in Los Angeles where Jackson was scheduled to appear. The entire altercation unfolded after Jackson was scheduled to interfere in a match, but ultimately went off script, where he picked up Smith up into the air and slammed him back down to the ground. Jackson then proceeded to unleash more than 20 punches, many of which landed after it appeared that Smith was already unconscious. Before other wrestlers were finally able to drag him off. Smith was admitted to a local hospital where he spent several days in intensive care with family members later revealed he suffered trauma to both the upper and lower jaws, a laceration to his upper lip, and a fracture to the maxilla bone, which resulted in the loss of several teeth from the assault. Jesus. Prior to the in-ring incident, Smith and Jackson were engaged in a separate incident when Smith hit Jackson with a beer can prior, believing Jackson was another pro wrestler involved to help hype the show. Video showed Smith later apologizing, and the two shook hands. Jackson, which we just talked about, Jackson was then seen on a live stream saying he was going to get his revenge, quote unquote, for real, after jumping into the ring for the planned showdown with Smith. The vicious assault was captured on the live stream, which led to an investigation by LAPD before Jackson was eventually arrested and hit with the two separate charges. Jackson has not publicly addressed the incident since it happened. He now faces a potential prison sentence if convicted on all charges. Wow. Just wild shit, dude. Wild shit. Some people were saying or believing that he could be hit with attempted charges. I don't know. Obviously, like I don't, I ain't involved in that shit. Like I don't know what it takes to really determine that. There is always a possibility that they add more charges and upgrade certain charges, or just add charges. Period. But 7 years is no joke, dude. 7 years in prison is no joke, and it's just sad that it got to that point. It's sad that certain things weren't done prior to prevent it. I don't know. It's just fucking wild because the dude pummeled him, bro. Like if again, like the video speaks for itself in my opinion. Like he just pummeled him, and then later on, like after it happened, like I think it was in like a parking lot or something, and the whoever like the dude was still streaming and still like just I don't know if there was ever a break or like he was just live streaming still the entire time. After they ended up breaking it up because even while Jackson was still on top of Stu and the wrestlers were trying to break him up, he was still trying to go after him. And it's like, dude, fucking stop, man. Like, stop. Like, it's not like Stu is sitting there like pushing you back and like y'all are like, like in a physical like altercation, like it's mutual, you know what I mean? Like, and Stu is like swinging, like throwing punches and shit. It's like he's fucking out, dude. Like, drop it. Like, even if this was an MMA fight, like, fucking drop it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no setting where that would have been allowed. Doesn't matter if it's like UFC, boxing, whatever. Like, the second Stu would have been down and unconscious, like, the referee would have gotten in there, separated, and, like, you would have been expected to stop. Like, there's just no excuse for the continuation of it. And that's why there's something, like, dude needs help. Like, dude, my opinion, just needs help. You know what I mean? But back to the parking lot thing, I don't remember exactly what the dude who was recording it or streaming it said, but no, it was actually when Jackson was on the phone. He was on the phone or something, and he was getting like an update, and he just said like "my bad" or some shit, just like completely downgraded it. And I was just like, you can at least be like apologize, dude. Like I don't know. Maybe we'll get information once the case goes on that he has sent apologies. I don't know. Maybe there's there's obviously information we don't know, right? So maybe that's included in that. My hopes aren't high though. I'm gonna go into your chats now. But yeah, guys. So November 24th is the preliminary hearing in the case. So definitely we'll be on lookout for that for a follow up and a continuation. Yeah, CJ says, speaking of Raja, the DA needs to throw the book at him. Sai said, what bothers me just as much about the Raja Jackson situation is that after he knocked Psycho Stu unconscious, the other guy pinned him and the ref counted it. Madness. Very fucking good point, dude. Like, are you serious? Like, no. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the last thing that should have been on anyone's mind is finishing the match, dude. Like, come on. I don't care. About the wrestling at that point. Like, are you absurd? Like, come on, dude. Come on. Yeah, he sighs. How the fuck does he plead not guilty? I wasn't really surprised by that. Unless he was just looking to settle this and just be done with it. But probably is not surprised. And you said I was / am a big fan of his dad, Rampage. Same. Who at least apologized. Raja has always been trouble. Rampage has a college fund set up for 2 sons and bill money for Raja. Not a joke. I heard that shit, dude. Yep, I heard that shit. And that's sad. It's really sad. And I did see a clip too where Rampage was like, look, like he's just a, I'm his father, I can only do so much. I'm gonna support him, but I can only do so much. Like, like what he did was wrong, like he needs to, be responsible, like he needs to pretty much like own up to his shit. So, yeah. So he said Raja did not apologize. He said, my bad. Yep, for fuck's sake. Yeah, dude. Yep. He was and again, he said he was unconscious. He's had to retire. He's a veteran as well. Yeah. So Psycho Stu was doing it because he was a veteran and he was looking for an outlet to pretty much just like channel everything that he was going through internally. So wrestling was his outlet, and now that's been taken away from him. And can you imagine like what he was already dealing with that led him into wrestling? Now all the trauma that he's gonna have to deal with because of this. It's just fucking sad, dude. Fucking sad. Yeah, Fernando, certain shit is weird, dude. Certain like YouTube has like certain like words that they don't like you to say. So I don't really know. I wish they had like a fucking like script. But yeah. Other channels have gotten in trouble for it. And Fernando, you said he almost beat him to death. He deserves 8 years in prison. He deserves the max, in my opinion. Yeah. CJ says zero regard for human life. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, guys, so I at least wanted to touch on that, give it a little bit more spotlight. For Psychos too, man. Like, yeah, like it got a lot of attention originally, but like the dude is still dealing with shit. So shout out to him, and I just hope he's good. It's only been since August. A lot of ways it feels like it's been like forever, like because we've all been sitting here waiting, like, okay, like what are they doing with him? Like why haven't they done X, Y, and Z? So at least we've gotten some progress on that, and just hold him accountable. And not for nothing, I hope monetarily, Psycho Stu is gonna be compensated. So at least he can do whatever he needs to do. You know what I mean? It's a shame. Best to be. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just messed up. I'm gonna save that page though. But yeah, so TJ is that time. We will talk about Bay. We will talk about Bay. And like I said earlier, K. Smith has said Bailey and Sasha in Brooklyn was the greatest women's match in his opinion. And I agree with that. I agree with that. It really set the standard. It really showcased what WWE have been sleeping on with so many women prior, what women's wrestling can be and what it should be. And, say what you want now about Mercedes Moné having like 15,000 titles and all that shit. Her and Bailey, man, really set the stage and really set the standard for women's wrestling, in my opinion. And if you haven't seen that Brooklyn match, you gotta go check it out. You gotta go check it out. But Bailey as a whole, when you think like, man, like I almost can't wait to see her Hall of Fame induction just because I can't wait to see what her whole video package is gonna entail. Like from the very beginning all the way to whatever her ending is gonna look like. And again, I'm not hoping for that anytime soon. I just can't wait to see that. You know what I mean? Whether that's 5, 10, 15 years from now, whatever it may be. I just really can't wait to see what her whole body of work ends up looking like because oh my god, Davila Rose, right? I think it was her indie name, some shit like that. Could be off, but something like that. But like even just like NXT Bailey, just ponytail Bailey with the Bailey buddies and all that shit. I feel like and of course the Four Horsewomen, but I remember thinking when the other three were brought up, right? When you had Sasha on the main roster, you had Becky too. Like if I had to put money on it back then, I would have had probably Charlotte first, then Sasha Banks, and then Bailey. If you had to do it like each individually and working to do it like all like in the group setting, which I would have, depending, the women's division wouldn't have supported at that point to have all four come up. and be like a unit, but I would have probably had Becky, which is, funny to look back on it now, but I probably had Becky being the last one in NXT. So having them keep keep Bailey back a little bit longer was surprising to me. But I was like, okay, so maybe they're setting something up like strong for Bailey. Like it kind of made me a little bit even more excited for her to be transitioned to the main roster and into being Raw, but to kind of, in a way, like not restart her journey, but kind of retell her story on the main roster though, because obviously ratings show it as well. Not everyone was watching NXT religiously, right? So not everyone was fully aware of the Bailey character. So they had a real opportunity to make a huge babyface out of Bailey. And they just kind of dropped the ball, in my opinion. They didn't make her humble enough, like her character humble enough. Like she kind of, it might not needed to be like groveling or anything like that, but needed to kind of work her way up and really kind of showcase like she's happy to be there type shit. Like she's actually, where the video packages, they used to always like, oh, I'm so thankful to be a WWE superstar. Like, oh, like whether it's true or not, you know what I mean? Like, like, oh, my life's dream was to be here. And of course, everyone's is like where the majority of wrestlers' dreams is to be in WWE, right? But like that was like the story back in the day, right? But Bailey's, her character, that's it, like that's part of what makes Bailey Bailey. She's so innocent, she's so happy, like, the fucking hug, she gives hugs, for God's sakes, you know what I mean? Like she's a hugger, you know what I mean? Like that's Bailey. So to have her come onto the main roster and not really, it's not like she was fucking cocky or anything like that, but it just didn't, it was just okay. Like I feel like we skipped like out of 10 chapters. I feel like we went to like chapter 6 already, and we just kind of missed like the feel good stuff and like the fun part. So I just, while they were lucky she was so popular, I just feel like they could have gotten so much more out of it. But in hindsight, they really, fast forwarding to her popping those Bailey buddies, bro, like, and cutting her hair. When she first came out with her haircut, I was like, yo, like what? Like I was just shocked. Just, it got me. It was jarring. It was very jarring. So like between that, popping the Bailey buddies, it was a moment, man. It was a moment. And again, fast forwarding from that, I feel like her and Sasha Banks were low-key 2 of the MVPs during the pandemic era when there was no fans and she was like she was feuding with Michael Cole and giving him shit. Like the Ding Dong Hello, like as obnoxious as it was, like I feel like that was one of my favorite versions of her. It was, you just felt like there was like a different side of Bailey. She was just kind of like a little bit more free and a little bit more just like, I'm just gonna kind of go out there and just like whatever comes to mind type shit. I have bullet points, but it just felt different, in the fucking door. Like, I don't know what it is with WWE doors, but, ding dong, hello, I know, but like, just obnoxious. Just obnoxious. But, yeah, and I feel kind of fast forwarding a lot. I was expecting them when NXT had their homecoming a few weeks back. Again, probably a good thing. Wrestling doesn't have money, or I can't bet on wrestling down here. Wrestling doesn't have money. Wrestling down here because I wouldn't have any money, because I would have put money on them having some type of like Bailey comeback on NXT. Especially with her going through like stuck in her brain, like kind of like fluctuating through all this shit. Like she had been like going, like the hugger was like kind of like popping back into her mind. She was hearing voices and shit. So I was just like, yo, like we're gonna see a return, like just for one night only, of Hugger Bailey, the Bailey buddies, all that shit, and we didn't. So I just feel like they really kind of missed out on that one too. Again, nothing full term or anything like that. Just really quick, like just for one night only. So it's fucking homecoming, for goodness sakes. Like that's literally like the perfect environment for it. But yeah, and again, Bailey has probably, I don't know, because the Four Horsemen, man, they're literally a different breed, you know, puns all around. But she is so good in the ring too, and for a while there, like I don't feel like she got the proper credit in ring wise that she deserved. But leading into WrestleMania 40, her winning the Rumble, and then winning the title, I feel like she finally got some respect there. Not that she hadn't fully prior, but the spotlight just never like fully felt like it was on her. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Bailey. I don't expect her to be the main focal point right now, and I think right now what she's doing is fun. Especially like kind of toying with Lyra. So we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing if she ends up turning on Lyra again, or maybe Lyra would turn on Bailey. We'll see. But right now they're going through Australia. I think they were like doing tag team matches or some shit. So we'll see. We will see. But yeah, guys, that's kind of the bulk of what I wanted to talk about here today. I'm gonna slide through your comments here really quick, and then we'll probably be wrapping up here shortly. But I appreciate you guys for joining me again on this fine Sunday. Everyone watching over on Twitter, I appreciate that as well. Maria, you said, are you still keeping up on court cases on TV? Of course. Of course. I actually have been thinking about starting a channel separately to this, talking about some of them. So I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. Obviously, scheduling wise, I would need to really be serious and dedicate time to that. But I actually been putting more and more consideration into really starting something like that. To be honest, my one of the holdups on me like actually doing that is just because I don't have no credentials, nothing like that, and it's very tricky touching on people's real life events, you know, and like real life victims and shit like that. But I have so much like built up, and like I watch so much shit, and like I just have so much like that I want to say. Again, it'll probably be something like this where I just sit there. Obviously I would do a little bit more of a deep dive prior. But I just kind of like just like vent, you know, and just talk about whatever cases. But yeah, there's been a few in particular that I've been into, and of course Karen Reed, you know, like my girl's still going through some civil shit, so still free Karen Reed. You know, she's free civilly, but or criminally, but she still has civil shit going on, which she still doesn't have her vehicle back. Like her vehicle had to go to a body shop to pretty much be put back together. And thankfully the body shop who's working on it is doing it for free for Karen. It ended up costing them like a few $1,000s, but they're not putting any of the cost to Karen Reed. So I wish I knew the name of them, but props to them. But fucking fantastic. You know, there's still good people out there. But she still doesn't have her cell phones back, I believe. So just dumb shit like that. And then of course, like the O'Keefe family are the ones who have the civil case against her, but her team was able to name, I think they're called like third party culprits or whatever. Or at least that's what they were called in like her criminal case. But pretty much able to name names. So yeah, I was really debating on starting a channel and getting into that. But yeah, if you guys would be down for that. I gotta make some changes in my evening time. So a lot has been fluctuating through my mind recently. But yeah, I just appreciate you guys being here though, and the support that you guys have given me here. So all love to you guys. Oh, sorry, not a fan of Turtle. Interesting. But yeah, guys, so we will be wrapping it up there. Gonna go do some chores, some housework, run some errands. Oh, really? So he said one of the jurors in the original Karen Reed trial got jailed for leaking information. Or he said second. Sorry, most recent. All right, yeah, I have to look into that shit. See, there's always so much shit. But yeah, I literally, that's honestly, I've been watching more about court cases than anything else. So there's a few that have been sticking out to me. So yeah, definitely looking into that. But I appreciate you guys, man. Again, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, all that good shit. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'll try to work on some timestamps and maybe breaking these down individual videos later on. We'll see. But definitely want to do another stream coming up here soon. Back here. Not traveling again until the end of this month, so definitely want to pump out some more stuff. But until next time, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's still early. Well, depending on where you're at, enjoy the rest of your weekend or enjoy your evening, whatever part of the day you're at. Or if you're watching on replay, enjoy whatever the time of the day you're at. And enjoy some wrestling too. That's the most important part. Take care, guys, and be safe.